Greetings Pilgrims, I'm Doug, this is Camino 2020, a section of my channel dedicated to my preparations for walking the Camino de Santiago in 2020. If you're into the Camino or just hiking gear and stuff in general, click subscribe if you would, and if you click that bell notification I can let you know every time new videos drop. Today I want to look at waterproof socks. When I first heard of the idea of waterproof socks, I thought it sounded kind of crazy. And in my mind, I just pictured waterproof socks being like these rubbery, like surgical gloves that you put on your feet. And they just sounded incredibly uncomfortable, probably way too hot, and just not worth keeping the water off your feet. Well, having had some luck with my Camino shoes, my Ultra Lone Peak RSM, the rain, snow, mud shoes, which you can see on other videos that I've done, I decided it might be worth giving these things a try. One of my big concerns on the Camino is not so much the moisture as it is keeping out elements like really cold rain or mud, which can be a problem even if it's not raining. Part of the difficulty with the Lone Peaks is that they are a very low profile shoe and it's very easy for just splashes or deep mud or something to get inside them, at which point they are no longer resisting water for your feet. And so your socks are just going to soak in whatever you've stepped in. Now, I tried getting the higher top Ultras, the mids is what they call them. But as you can see in another video, that did not end up working out. And so I tried to think, what could I do to get a little bit more protection without ruining my ride? These are the Randy Sun unisex waterproof socks. I got them on Amazon for about 20 bucks, which is pretty decent for a pair of hiking socks, and I decided to try them out. And in this video, what I'm going to talk about are some of the experiments that I did to see what it would be like wearing waterproof socks. So, here we go. So far both socks feel pretty fine. We're about, I don't know, maybe a mile in, and I can't really tell much difference between the Darn Tough Vermonts and the waterproof socks. Oh, and in case you're thinking, wisely, that it's not really a good idea to test two different pieces of equipment at the same time because you don't know which variable is acting on the outcome the most, I have actually done a test on the Lone Peak RSM, the blue ones, rain, snow, mud, versus the mesh shoe before. And I did not find them to have a very serious difference. In fact, the differences that were measured were actually in favor of the RSM as far as heat goes. So I'm not really considering the shoes to be much of a variable at this point. What I'm really kind of going for is giving the waterproof socks the hardest time that they should have performing well, and I'll see how they do. All right, well, a little moist, not much. Still feels good. One thing about the RSMs with the waterproof socks is they are super fashionable. Alright, so let's see, we got a little bit of a breeze going. Honestly, once again, I feel about the same. Both socks are feeling the breeze. Listen to how loud that is. They definitely have a different feel to them. These are a little bit more padded, You can definitely tell that extra layer is in there, but honestly, just heat-wise, I'm just not feeling much of a difference. Got the NGG toe socks. Just a little bit moist, not bad. Yeah, it's like taking off a wetsuit. Maybe a little bit more moist than the other ones. But not bad. I mean, the inside of the sock feels pretty dry. Neither one, actually, interesting. The Darn Tough feels quite a bit more wet than the inside of the waterproof sock. The insides of the shoes are both warm, more moist inside the mesh shoe than inside the waterproof shoe. I really would have expected there to be more of a difference. It's pretty much an even tie once again. So what is my conclusion at the end of all this? Surprisingly, I have to say that on 2 distinct trips, I have successfully worn these waterproof socks and really not noticed much of a difference, if any, between them and my fantastic Darn Tough hiking socks. Now, the problem with these experiments is that I have not been able to take them out in extremely hot temperatures yet. So it is entirely possible that there is an upper limit to what these socks can handle versus what the hiking socks can handle. In other words, it may be that my body heat could only generate a certain amount of heat given the outside conditions, whereas if I was walking around in 80 or 90 degrees, perhaps my feet could get a lot hotter, and it would be at that point that I would notice a breathability difference between the hiking sock and the waterproof sock. But I have to say, at this point, I have not been able to tell any physical difference. In fact, the hiking socks ended up a little bit more wet from sweat than the waterproof socks did, which is a shock. So, while I may be changing my tune later in the spring as it starts to get warmer out here, for now, these are a viable option. I hope this video has helped you in your plans for your Camino or your hiking adventures in 2020 and the years to come. If it has, would you mind giving the video a like? And again, consider subscribing to the channel. You won't be bothered with notifications unless you click that bell, in which case I can let you know every time a new video comes out. Until next time, I'm Doug. Buen Camino.